Pennsylvania is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I rise in opposition to this resolution, and I will yield myself such time as I may consume.
The gentlewoman is recognized.
Thank you. I rise as the ranking member of the Ethics Committee, a body that I am proud to have served on throughout my entire time in Congress. And I also rise as a member of the House Foreign Affairs Committee, which I've also served on throughout my time in Congress. Many people don't understand the nature of the Ethics Committee. It's a unique body within this Congress. It consists of an equal number of Democrats and Republicans, and it offers a mechanism by which complaints against members of Congress and high-ranking staff can be vetted, investigated, and adjudicated on pretty much of a confidential basis by the members of the committee. And I'm very pleased, what may really surprise people is to know that we often come to completely unanimous decisions in that very bipartisan committee. So with that said, I'm disappointed that my colleagues in the majority are choosing as one of their very first exercises of authority in this Congress to pursue vengeance over governance. Governance would be to allow this resolution, which has been referred to the Ethics Committee, to proceed through the committee's regular process. The Ethics Committee is charged with determining whether member behavior violates the Code of Official Conduct, and when warranted by a violation, recommending that the House adopt sanctions or restrict certain privileges like service on committees. I strongly urge a return to the days of civility, which would be nice to see here in this body, in which I think the American people would very much welcome. And, you know, one of the ways of doing that is to have this chamber allow the Ethics Committee to do its work so that we avoid a situation where every couple of years when there is a transfer of power between one party to the other, we don't see these constant efforts to boot people from committees based on past actions. If a member does something egregious that is worthy of a complaint, any member can bring a complaint to the Ethics Committee, and it can be dealt with there. The majority is seeking to advance this resolution they're trying to advance it before the Ethics Committee, and yet the Ethics Committee has not yet even adopted its rules, held an organizational meeting, or convened for the first time this Congress. I want to address the issue of due process. During the rules meeting leading up to today's vote, a number of concerns were expressed, and it's been reported in the media as well, concerns about due process. The resolution, House Resolution 76, claims that any member reserves the right to bring a case before the Committee on Ethics as grounds for an appeal to the Speaker of the House for reconsideration of any committee removal decision. Notably, that language is contained in one of the whereas clauses, not in the resolved clause, which is the only binding part of this resolution. And by the way, it's even been conceded by members of the GOP that the whereas clause, the quote is, merely references an existing process and in no way begins an appeal procedure or guarantees her committee seat will be reconsidered. It's non-binding and not actionable, a senior GOP aide told Politico on Tuesday. Well, in fact, I agree with that quote, with the exception that where it says that the clause added references an existing process. You can take that down. There is no such existing process. There is no due process at all afforded to the member who is being sought to be removed from a committee. And that is not due process. And I say that to address the many, many concerns that I've heard from members on the other side of the aisle, from members of the Rules Committee. There is no due process in this House resolution. Once the full House votes to strip a member of a right or privilege, only the full House can restore that right or privilege. Allowing Representative Omar to appeal to the Ethics Committee after the House has already voted to deny her a seat on the House Foreign Affairs Committee would be nonsensical, and it would be defective process. It is the wrong order of things. And it violates how the Ethics Committee has operated ever since its creation as a standing committee of the House in 1967, where the committee recommends a sanction after full investigation and adjudication, and the member is allowed to present evidence and make their case, and then the full House votes on the committee's recommendation for sanctions. House Resolution 76 violates the spirit of how our unique committee, the House's only evenly divided, truly partisan standing committee, operates. This is about partisanship, Mr. Speaker, not principle. This is about payback, not process. House Resolution 76 is wholly transparent for what it is, and I firmly oppose its passage.